Hey guys, welcome back to Car Buyer Singapore. This item is the 2020 Mitsubishi Attrage. It's facelifted this year. We're going to review it today to find out why you would want to buy one or not, what's inside it, what it drives like, and what it tells us about budget cars today. That is the $65,000 question. Alright, so this is the Attrage. Now the Attrage first appeared here in Singapore in 2015. It's a compact sedan, and its claim to fame is that it's pretty much the cheapest Japanese sedan you can get here. Just before August 2nd series round, that's in like a few days time, the price is right now 65 grand. There is pretty much nothing cheaper on the market if you want a Japanese four-door. If you want a sedan that's cheaper, there's a Proda Bezza. In this price range, there's also the Nissan Note, which is a slightly smaller car, has a similar engine, similar layout. But as we said, this is a facelift, so let's check out the front end. You know, if you've seen the Mitsubishi Outlander, it's got those two vaguely, I don't know what you call these things, rectagonal, octagonal, polygonal things, and obviously it does make the car look a bit nicer. You got a little grille, black grille, and obviously it's a sporty look, Mitsubishi logo. Here's one surprise. So I find myself saying that a lot, surprising stuff, and come back to the fact that this car costs 65 grand. These are actually LED headlights with the daytime running lights. So when the car first came out, these were halogens. Those weren't so nice. We just look around the back too. Now the rear headlights are also the the tail lights are LEDs too. Now they have that eyeliner around them now, but they are LEDs which are faster and brighter. So Attrage. Yep. And let's look at the side, because you know we really don't get that many compact sedans anymore. They're not as popular as they used to be. But you realize that the car is like has a very big greenhouse. The windows are very large, so this is a hallmark of compact sedans here, because they have to be small, easy to drive, easy to look out of. Because you look at the target audience, these are the things that they're looking out for in a car: cheap, easy to drive, reliable, blah blah blah. Let's look at those wheels. 15-inch wheels, yo. Okay. Time to look on the inside of the Attrage, and it already has one surprise for us. This is a push button, but it's still keyless. Not bad for a budget car. That's the first surprise right there. Now we're looking on the inside. Okay, lots of black plastic. Again, totally expected for a car of this price point. Gonna hear a lot of that. This is gloss black plastic. You know, hard wearing, probably quite tough and enduring, but you know, it doesn't look the best, obviously. Here are some concessions to fashion. Fake carbon. We always say, if you're going to put fake carbon, don't put anything at all. But honestly, it's not that bad. You know, the Nissan Kicks had something similar. It's not terrible. Look at all this switch gear. Oh, let's check out this. This is central locking. No button at all. Interesting. Again, alright. But you know, this isn't top-notch stuff. Again, it's totally expected. But again, I think the Attrage has something to offer us. Let's take a look at this. Start her up. I never understood what those beeps are. Hello, you just pressed start and the car is starting up. Did I hear the engine or not? Okay, segmented LCDs. That is retro. I'm gonna push the little stop to look at my trip computer. Also very retro. Right, so it looks like the Attrage is actually a throwback, you know, budget car, throwback, old technology, yes. But I think in some ways it is also quite surprising. Let's look at that switchgear over here again. So again, plasticky switchgear, it works, yes. But look here, ESP, wow. And you might go, so what, every car has ESP nowadays. But if you recall that maybe 4 or 5 years ago when the Attrage first came out, the Toyota Corolla Altis, the previous gen, before the facelift, that had 2 airbags in the low spec, and it did not have ESP. So the Attrage really isn't terrible in that aspect, and also it has 6 airbags. 6 airbags, which is pretty good for a budget car costing less than 70 grand. Alright, you know, this instrument panel is not much to look at, honestly. It's got, you know, the basic driving stuff. It's not fancy, it's not active. But here we have a nice 7-inch infotainment display system that's got full color. Pretty good. So you can see there, Bluetooth audio, you can connect our phone and all that stuff. But again, we have another surprise, or rather the Attrage has another surprise. If I can find my goddamn phone. Alright, let's just plug her in. Plug my phone in. Unlock it. Okay, now check this out. It actually has Android Auto, and I was quite surprised by that. Now you may know that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are coming into the mainstream, but really the Attrage, the presence of it in the Attrage really says that yes, you ought to expect this in pretty much every car you drive in 2020, new car that is. And yes, Apple CarPlay works on this system as well. So not bad. I have navigation, I have my music, all that stuff. I can even ask Google stuff. What is the Mitsubishi Attrage?
Sure, let me get some more information so I can help you with that.
Okay.
Tap the notification on your device to continue.
Oh, well, I guess they won't tell me while I'm driving. I can even use this button to activate it. Hey Google, what is a lemur?
Here's the definition of lemur. An arboreal primate with a pointed snout and typically a long tail, found only in Madagascar.
Yeah, pretty cool. So this is the backstreet of the Attrage, and I think this is really where the cheap car scores points. Now look at this. This is my normal driving position as usual. You guys know I'm 1.7 meters tall. There's quite a lot of leg room for a compact sedan. Yeah, I'm not like squished up. And imagine if there are 3 people here, it would work. Elbow people in the face, yes, but you would still, be able to fit them. And 4 guys would fit quite comfortably. Average size Singaporean people. And let's look at the headroom. If I sit here like that, there's only a tiny little bit of headroom. Of course, most of you will slouch like that. You get more headroom there. So again, it's not terrible. It's actually pretty good for an affordable car. Okay, this is the Attrage on the road. And as we said at the start of the video, really one of the interesting things about this car is it's going to tell us what we should expect from other cars in Singapore in 2020, because we're scraping the bottom of the price line here at 65 grand, one of the cheapest cars around. So let me see. The lights are manual, the wipers are manual, the mirrors don't dim. This mirror doesn't dim unless you do this. So I guess if you compare it to a modern day Land Rover, the new Land Rover with a digitized rear view screen, it feels like you're slumming it. But like we said, this is a budget car, so you shouldn't expect too much because you're paying very little, relatively little. Cars aren't cheap in Singapore, no matter what you say. And what else did we have? We had the manual door locks, we got automatic windows, we've got manual seats, which are very tall. And so one of the interesting things we pointed out just now about the design is how compact sedans have a sort of bubble shape, and I realized that's also because of a safety thing. If you have a small car and you're sitting low, you won't be able to see very well. You might notice that I'm sitting quite high actually for a seating position. This is the lowest it can go. At least I think I'm doing it right. It's an adjustable wheel here, but it's a 1.2 litre engine, 80 horsepower, and it feels it. We have a little bit of a slope here. So 0 to 100 on the official spec sheet is 13.3 seconds, and I have no reason to doubt that. Again, if you're going to buy an Attrage, you better not be in a hurry. What the hell are you doing? Are you on drugs? If you're going to buy an Attrage, you better not be in a hurry because, 80 horsepower. And of course, we have a CVT here. So, one of the benefits of a CVT, we'll see later in the car park. But right now, out on the road, you've got to go quick. There's always that layer of CVT sludge that I have to get through. So, keen drivers always complain about that. But obviously, if you're a keen driver, you're not gonna buy an Attrage. You're probably gonna go something for at least a Honda Civic. I don't know. Okay, so that's the CVT thing. Now we're going slower, less than 50 now. And this is where the Attrage gained some points. Now it's actually quite quiet at low speeds. I'll take you through for a spin around the car park. But obviously, once that 1.2 liter engine comes on, it's not nice. It's a bit loud. But like we said, there's not much sound insulation because budget car. When we were driving this car in the rain yesterday, you can hear the patter of the raindrops. Here we go again. It's only at about 2,000 RPM right now, so it's not the most refined car around, obviously. But I'm driving around the car park. The tall seating position helps. The relatively good visibility. This is a bit thick, but not a bit thick too. But it's good to for an urban environment, which pretty much is what Singapore is, and I think that is one of the reasons why the Attrage has been relatively successful here. It's a good car in the city. You could do much worse, I think, especially for the price. And also because it's a relatively light car, it's a small engine, it's an underpowered engine, you get pretty good fuel efficiency. Now we did a stint on the highway, 10 minutes. You saw us drive here inside around, got about 16 km per litre, so that is pretty good considering this is a car without start-stop, without anything fancy like cylinder deactivation and things like that. So quite a good result. Now obviously we can take this as the benchmark of what to expect from cars moving on. This is the $65,000 question again, and we're going to answer that in a little bit in an interesting way. Before we conclude, another interesting metric we came up with: how do you measure the value of a car here? Obviously you compare it with other cars. Now the Attrage is the bottom line in terms of Japanese sedandom here, so we figured let's compare it to other cars and how many Attrages you can buy. So the first one we have is the Volkswagen Touran. Volkswagen Touran costs 135 grand, 136 grand. So you can buy two Attrages with Volkswagen Touran. Is the Touran twice the car the Attrage is? If you have to carry 7 people, yes. If you carry 5 people, maybe not, because they both have 4 wheels, okay acceleration, you get to where you're going, air conditioning, a roof over your head. Okay, and then moving further up the line, Mercedes-Benz C180 Avant-Garde, that's about 180 grand, 190 grand. You could buy 3 Attrages with that car. Now obviously it's got the 3-pointed star on the bonnet. How much that is worth to you, but to us, is 3 Attrages worth 1 Mercedes? I don't think so. Let's go further up the line. What did I come up with? The BMW X5. Now that has 7 seats. It's a big SUV. It's a BMW. It costs 340 grand here, and with that money you could buy 5 Mitsubishi Attrages. Again, you're gonna compare the Touran to this, to the X5 even. It's no comparison. You have a car for 65 grand. You can go even further up the line. Let's think. Go for something really ridiculous. Okay, Ferrari F8 Spider. We just did that video with Julian. That car costs 1.1 mil without a COE. So 1.1 mil to the math. 17 Attrages. 17. How do I count 17? 17. Shit. Hopeless it is. Can't forget that. But you get an idea of what we're getting at. So if you want to go to the top of the ridiculousness pile, Bugatti Veyron costs 4 million here. You save a bit of money on the COE since you can't drive it, so 30 grand off 4 million. Ooh, bargain, right? So 4 million, that is 65 Attrages for 1 Bugatti Veyron. So you will get to where you're going ostensibly quicker if there's no one in front of you, if it's a straight line, if it's a Nardo test track or some shit. But yeah, you make the comparison there. I just thought that would be an interesting look at how many Attrages you can get for the money. Okay guys, this is the conclusion. Would we buy an Attrage if we had the money? That's a really hard question to answer because buying cars in Singapore is a very touchy subject sometimes. If I had 65 grand lying around, I would invest it and take the bus. Can't believe I said that. Okay, but seriously, if you want a new car, if you want a Japanese car, a sedan, for less than 70 grand, this is not bad. You know, I actually, when we drove the Attrage 5 years ago, it cost $90,000 because of the COE. Now COE is at a relatively low level, and you know, in between 60 and 90 grand, this car would still have buyers, because you know, some people want a new car. They just want their own car, their own set of wheels. Fine, that's totally understandable. There's nothing wrong with this, and you could do worse than an Attrage. I mean, let's look at the surprising features it has. It had keyless, it's got 6 airbags, it's got ESP, it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you know, cruise control, stuff like that. It's not the best car to drive. It's not the most refined car around, but as we said, it cost 65 grand. What do you expect, really? So I think at the end of the day, it's not a terrible choice. It's pretty okay. It's a solid choice, actually, if I think about it seriously from the point of a car buyer. Below 70, what are your choices, really? You got the Note, you've got this, you've got a Perodua, you've got a whole host of second-hand cars, and obviously if you're looking for a new car, you won't want a second-hand car because, I don't know, farts or lice or whatever. But okay, that is our review of the Mitsubishi Attrage. The name is from Attractive and Mirage, actually, if I remember the nomenclature correctly. Yeah, the Mitsubishi Mirage coupe thing. So yeah, Attrage. I always wanted them to make a model based on the Outlander and a Mirage, an outrage, so to speak. But thanks for watching. Okay, so if you found this good, interesting, useful video thingy thing, then please subscribe to carbuy.com.sg, hit the bell, share it with your friends, and visit the website. Thanks, guys.